Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is, matter of fact, before I give you the topic, these are the days that I was born for. But I don't get emotional. This is why my heart beats, is to try to tell people America is falling. We don't have long. We got to stop sinning, repent, and turn to Jesus. We've got to get all of the people around us saved. This is about to be a startling broadcast. Topic: internal revolution, now in progress. Now, I can't prove it, but based upon about 3 different sources, unless they're all 3 wrong, that is exactly what's happening right now as we speak. So, matter of fact, let me back up. Before I even get to that one, it was 1987. I guess I'll take just a second and tell you what happened. So, I was teaching a class in Bible prophecy at my little local church. Love Bible prophecy. And a lady walked up afterwards and handed me an audio tape and says, "I think you'll be interested in watching this." I'd just been teaching that Revelation 18 has to be America. On the way home, I listened to Dimitri Duduman, a Romanian pastor, tell his testimony about how he'd been smuggling Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. From time to time, the angel would come and visit him and tell him how to smuggle the Bibles through, how to get them through, who to see, what to do. And finally, he was arrested. They put him through 5 months of torture. It was a big test. Finally, they put him on the electric chair twice. As the electricity is going through his body, the angel Gabriel shows up in the room. The whole room lights up with white light. And he says, "I'm the angel Gabriel. I've been sent here to help you." He said, "You're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God." Now, I'm going to skip a lot of the story. Then that was 1980. 1984, he arrived in America. The angel came to him again and said, "Get beside me." Took and showed him all of California, Las Vegas, New York, and Florida. And he said, "Do you see what I've shown you? This is Sodom and Gomorrah. In one day, it will burn." He said, "How will it burn? Is America so powerful?" Now, listen, because this is now in progress. He said, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America in one day, in 1 hour, so great riches will come to naught. God will raise up China, Japan, and many of the nations. They'll go against the Russians and defeat the Russians and back the Russians to the gates of Paris, where they sign a peace treaty, but they make the Russians their leader. Under the leadership of the Russians, all the world goes down to attack little Israel. She can't count on the help of the Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah. Jesus returns on the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. Now, he went into telling him, here's how you absolutely positively know that I'm the angel of God and that this is going to come to pass. Now, that's a long story, but I'm going to skip it today. Instead, if you'll stick with me for about the next 5 to 7 minutes, I've got to give you a refresher that we just covered in the last broadcast. But if I don't, then I'll be missing some chunks that you need to have in order to understand where we are. Okay, so here's the brief refresher. So this was Hal Turner Radio Show Friday. He said 2 different guys called him and says, get ready to bug out. In other words, something big is about to happen. I'll let you read all the details. Now, let's jump to the Mexican border. Here's the next thing. Now, I do not recommend this guy. He's a New Ager. He's definitely not a Christian. But from time to time, he does come up with inside information that does confirm out with other people to be accurate. So for that reason, and only for that reason, do I bring up what he said. He says that we are now reaching a tipping point. I call it an internal revolution. He also says DJT is to be secured before the weekend. This was several days ago. He also said that all of this is taking place as part of the second phase. What's the first phase? Well, I'd love to be able to have all these answers, but I don't want to have any inside sources. I just have my Bible and what people are hearing in visions and dreams and the real prophets of God that are hearing. But I believe that the first phase was kind of the quiet arrests of thousands of bad guys. The second phase we're now moving into has to do with the open arrests, the internal revolution, the military takeover, what Dmitry was told, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. And that's what it says. Russia is going into parts of Ukraine. Really? Okay. But he says this is the good guys taking over some of the bad guys, and all of this is necessary. Now, I read all of this in the last broadcast, and if I read every word of that, we're not going to have time to get to where we need to go today. So I'm going to just point out a couple of things. He says this weekend you're going to hear of mass military activities. And he says that this is all part of the redistribution of the countries in Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe, remember that, because I'm going to show you something. He says Russia is going to invade Ukraine. Okay, now I know that sounds a lot like Revelation 6:1, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard were the noise of thunder, and then, of course, the first, the white rider on the white horse, and then the rider on the red horse are both war. So it sounds like we're getting very close to the tribulation. I do not think we're in the tribulation. I do think we're getting close. He says all of this has been agreed on in advance. This is all part of the internal revolution. Now, there's two different perspectives here. Matter of fact, let me put it in three different perspectives. Just talk a second. Okay, the first perspective is the white hats, the good guys that want to take over and remove the bad guys, and they want to do it by military force. And I hope and pray that they're very successful, and I hope that they clean up enough of the bad guys so God will give America more time, which is why I'm asking people to fast and pray. This starting Halloween night at midnight, we're going to fast and pray 4 days in a row, praying on our face 4 times a day, asking God to give us 40 more years. It's urgent that we pray right now. That's what I felt in my spirit. No dream, no audible voice. Don't even have a confirming word. It's just something I'm asking people to do. So the first perspective is the white hats want to believe that they're going to clean house. The second perspective I want to talk about is the Moloch and Baal worshipers, these evil people that say that they have controlled the entire planet for thousands of years, and they say that we will destroy it rather than give it up. So they're fighting. The good guys and the bad guys, the black hats and the white hats are fighting. There's a spiritual battle going on like I've never seen in my life. And I think it's because we are getting very close to the end. Now, the third perspective is God's perspective. See, God looked down and he said, I love America, but I can't put up with this filth. The angel told Dmitry, he said, in the church, there's divorces, abortion, fornication, sodomy, divorces, all kinds of sin. He says Jesus Christ doesn't live in sin. He lives in holiness. He said, I brought you here so you can cry out loud. In other words, America will burn. But if I have anything to do with it, and I believe if you have anything to do with it, we're going to do our best to soften and delay what we can't pray away. While we can't pray away the fall of America, I believe we can pray for it to be softened and delayed. I think we've got to pray that this internal revolution is at least successful as much as possible, that as many bad guys can be rounded up as possible, to where hopefully the Lord will say, okay, like Nineveh, I'll give you more time. That's what we got to do. So these guys are saying it is now in progress. That's the point of this today. So I'm going to just hit the highlights here. He says the media are going to talk about this war, but he says it's not real. It's all part of what has to happen to remove the old SWIFT system, to bring in the new QFS system, to remove the old black hat guys, to bring in the white hat guys, if we could say it that way. He says alliance troops who are going to fight the cabal's mercenaries, he said, this is what it is. He said, so don't be worried. However, at the rate it's expanding and so many people are getting involved, I can't totally believe what he's saying is accurate. But I'll get there. The good guys had to change the plan to implement the QFS first, meaning that the good guys don't always get their way. And I might also add, God doesn't always get his way either, because he gives us free choice. And we make lots of mistakes. Because someone tipped the bad guys off and they're moving the gold. So that's how they know. He goes on to say this is why they decided to take military action before implementing the QFS. That's the new financial system, the whole new world order, which they think is just going to be wonderful. But we prophecy students know, it may start off wonderful, But it's going to be, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or in their forehead. Let's go on. So he says, this is what Simon knows, what he can tell us. Maybe the situation will change at the last minute, and I hope and pray that it does. Now, let me skip. This is just recently. This is just put out in the last few hours. Headline, to all CC members at the southern border. To all CC members down on the southern border, stay indoors, repel any invasion of your home. Repel? What? In America? Look at those words. I didn't write them. Repel any invasion in your home. Stay within the Constitution, means obey the laws, and local state ordinances, but defend your family and your home. Below is a report from the southern border. We have 2 friends on the Texas border who we called last night to warn them about the potential of a border war. A border war? In other words, they're about to say that there's thousands of people. We're not talking about moms with little babies in their arms trying to swim across the Rio Grande. We're talking about military-age men. Matter of fact, Fox News just did a special on it just Friday night. Military-age men in camouflage, okay? Oh, they just really come over here just because they want a job? Then why are they wearing camouflage? I'll tell you why they're wearing camouflage. Because they're going to be part of the invasion force. And I don't think it's necessarily Mexico or even Central America as much as it really is the cabal. Because the cabal says, oh, yeah, you have a military? Well, let me just tell you, we have a military too. And it's criminals. It's people that are half-wits, knuckleheads, outcasts, gang members, and we're sending them up to destroy you. That's their army, and they're doing it. Let's go on. He says they confirmed that there were, look at this, 80,000 angry Haitians heading their way, and were expected to get there by Wednesday. As in, that's in the next 48 hours when I'm making that. He says they hadn't heard that the cartel was mounting a large armed force. See, this is cartel, or another way of saying cabal, because the cartels, those people that have drug trafficking, are owned and controlled by the same people that do sex trafficking and human trafficking and eat people and drink their blood, and that's what the Moloch and Baal worshippers do. Have it confirmed many different ways. They hadn't heard that the cartel was mounting a large armed force. However, the people in this county are terrified as well because they only have 1 sheriff and 5 deputies to protect them. Absolutely no media coverage, and don't expect it to be in the media. Headline, Army deploying to southern border. What? I'm telling you, just like Dmitry was told, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. This is it. U.S. regular Army is deploying to the southern border. What? In our lifetime? Really? Where's that pre-trib rapture now? U.S. regular Army is deploying to the southern border as a huge armed militia is making its way up with the intention of forcing a way into the USA. This constitutes an invasion by a foreign power, and we should expect to see the U.S. military stand and fight. What is that? What do you call that? Is there another name you can give it? That's an internal revolution. Some of the people start fighting against the government. I want to believe the good guys will kick out the bad guys, and then we have a wonderful day. But it doesn't appear it's going to be that way. It appears it's going to be not just a spiritual fight, but a bloody fight. Headline, Simon Parks again. Based on the latest confirmations, I have formally asking our followers through the emergency Zoom that were just called on short notice with the country coordinators. Please, will country coordinators prepare your regional coordinators for the situation that I've discussed with you? So he's discussing something that, since I'm not a member and don't want to be a member, I'm not privy to. But look at what he does say. In particular, any military activity take place in your country, any disruption of communications and any curfew may be ordered. Disruption of communications, military, those are big words. Please remind the teams to support members and remain steadfast in what will most likely be only a short period of time. Well, Simon Parks, I hope you're right, my brother. But I don't think you are. I am afraid unless we can muster a lot of fasting and prayer, and that's the reason I'm calling 4 days of fasting and prayer. If you want America to get past this, if you want to have a nation anymore, we got to get on our face 4 times a day for 4 days. We got to fast. We got to pray because we're about to lose our nation if we don't. It's not a joke. This is fasting for our lives, our families, and for our nation. Has to happen. Now let's go to Benjamin Fulford. October 25th, headline, Worldwide Arrests, Executions as Khazarian Mafia Takedown Accelerates. So it's not just the only person saying this. Matter of fact, there's 3 people, him and also Hal Turner says the same thing. A series of arrests, executions? Oh, yes, there's been executions going on. A series of arrests, executions, and resignations worldwide signal that a major offensive against the Khazarian Mafia, that's what we call the Moloch and Baal worshippers, the Khazarian Mafia is underway. Multiple sources confirm. Now I'm going to skip that part. In addition, the secret governments of England, Germany, Ireland, and Japan have been replaced. What? See, this internal revolution that's going on in America, I'm going to show you just a minute. It's not just happening in just America. And that's what the prophecies say. It happens mostly, and it happens first in America, but that's what other people have seen in dreams and visions. It starts here, but it goes around the globe. And I pray that there's enough people arrested that God will give us more time. That's what we got to pray for. Let's go on. Here's intel received from multiple sources, including some at the top of the G7 Western political structure. The militaries worldwide have been given the green light to move. What? See, it's a worldwide. They are removing this cabal, these Moloch and Baal worshippers that have owned and controlled and ruled the world for thousands of years, again, probably going back before the pyramids. Worldwide have been given the green light to move. They will be active in every country. It's the good guys taking out the last, I hope so, of the bad guys. I hope he's right. I hope both these guys are right. Based upon the prophecies, I'm not totally convinced, but I am convinced of this. If we don't pray, we will lose our nation. This is survival. We must pray. The weapons of our warfare are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, loosing the angels to do warfare. I believe that we accomplish more on our fasted knees, praying as a group, than all of this Khazarian Mafia, all of this Moloch and Baal. Look, they think they're in charge. They're not in charge. Of course, we know the Lord Jesus is in charge, but he's in charge based upon what comes out of here, what comes out of our mouth. It's what we say that counts, because he gave us power over serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. It's what we say, what comes out of it, and what we do. That's what determines what happens. Now, let's go on. So he says the secret governments in England, Germany, Ireland, and Japan have been replaced. Again, this is part of the cleanup. Militaries around the world are now moving, he goes on to say. It started this weekend and will roll out over the next 2 to 3 weeks. There may be intermittent outages in power, water, internet, and phones. Be ready. We've been talking about this. No surprise. He goes on. By the way, he mentioned Simon Parks. He said, now, Simon Parks has his own sources, meaning different sources, but they're both saying the same thing. Now, the Bible says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. So if we will believe our Bible, when you got Simon Parks saying the same thing from different sources than Hal Turner is saying, or in this case, Benjamin Fulford is saying, you got 3 different witnesses saying the same thing, okay? He also says that New Zealand citizens have been told to stay indoors and to expect to hear explosions. What? Explosions? Shooting and children screaming? What? I'll read it again. He also says in New Zealand, citizens have been told to stay indoors, expect to hear explosions, shooting, and children screaming. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. I'm telling you, this is it. It is now in the early phases. The question is now who wins? The black hats or the white hats? The cabal or the good guys? And it's based upon our prayers. Brothers and sisters, we've absolutely positively got to pray. And it starts Halloween night at midnight until Thursday the 4th at 4 p.m. 4 times a day for 4 days, praying for 40 more years for America. Like somebody said, you really think we can get 40 more years? Well, I'll say this. If we only pray asking for 4, we're probably not going to get 40. But if we pray asking for 40, perhaps we'll get 4. Let's go on. No matter what, though, The fall of the Chinese, of the CCP, UN Rothschild-controlled U.S. corporate regime is happening in real time, as in now. In addition to the widely reported economic collapse, just like Shane Warren has told us, okay, economic collapse coming, dollar blowing in the wind, worthless as leaves. Widely reported economic collapse, we're now seeing a loss of control of the border with Mexico. 3 people saying it. Fox News reporting it even. Cartels have entered northern Maverick County and southern Kinney County and already engaged in firefights. In other words, the internal revolution already has bullets flying both directions. It has, not coming, has started. That's what they said. Are already engaged in firefights with private citizens and have taken over a small town on U.S. soil tonight. We have foreign troops fighting on American soil as I speak, in what is thought to be preparation for the invasion. In other words, we're being invaded. All law enforcement and U.S. Border Patrol have left the area. 38,000 illegals are hitting the southern Texas border in less than 72 hours. And 150,000, half, will hit the northern Texas entrance at Del Rio to overwhelm and breach entrance, causing Border Patrol and National Guard to be sent. 80,000 armed Haitians will hit the middle absence of protection and proceed with an invasion. Heavy fighting is expected starting Monday. This is Monday when I'm recording this. In other words, this is now in progress. No more of this. This is what might happen. No more of this. Well, this may be coming. This is what you watch for. They're now saying, 2 people are saying it's now in progress. And it's expected to grow in intensity throughout the week. When asked about this, Pentagon sources say this is confirmed. It's being blamed on the cartels. Violence is way up. Now let's skip down. The headlines below with the satanic 666 code word make it clear who is behind this, as in the Moloch the Baal worshippers, or the devil, or Satan. Okay. Border Patrol agents apprehended a total of 1,667 illegal immigrants along the southwest border in fiscal 2021. Federal officials have lost control of the southwest border. No surprise, we know that. Now, I'm just going to read one thing here to remind you of what Terry Bennett was told. He said, period 3, this is the angel Gabriel talking to Terry Bennett back in 2010. It might have been 2005. Anyway, he said, from 2022 to 2028 will be the rise of the beast and the Antichrist and one world religion. Now, did he say the tribulation starts in 2022 to 2028? No. But indirectly, that's exactly what he said. The governmental troubles will be in preparation for, particularly in Europe, the rising of the spirit of the Antichrist. It's in the process. What is coming is called a new world order, but behind that is the spirit of the Antichrist, the false prophet, and spirit of the one world religion. Now, hang on to that. Keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to what Benjamin Fulford was saying. To the rest of the article, he says, in any case, the EU is collapsing now, with their Führer, Angela Hitler, now has been removed from power. Skipping down, now this is what the Moloch and Baal worshippers say. You got to read this because I can't say all of it. This might just be a myth, he says, but the ongoing situation is very real evidence of an evil secret government. He said, we were sent videos of people, children being killed, and I can't read all of that, and they're unbelievably satanic. It's like a rabid dog. You just have to get rid of them. I can't read all of that, but you should read it because that's describing what these Moloch and Baal worshippers really believe and what they really do. Next headline. Truth11.com says, the Army is deploying to the southern border. That didn't say National Guard. That didn't say the Border Patrol or sheriffs. Or that didn't say the Texas Department of Public Safety or troopers. That said the military. Thousands of migrants march out of city in Mexico towards U.S. border. This is the second person saying this. More than 2,000 migrants, mainly from central Mexico, have pushed past the line of state police who are trying to stop them. There were minor scuffles. Tens of thousands of migrants from Honduras, El Salvador, and Haiti have been waiting in the southern city to attack America, basically, is what it's saying. Now, just to show you this is not just happening here in America, This says from The Guardian, Sudan's army detains prime minister and other civilian leaders in a coup attempt. So there's been a lot of this that are rounding up a lot of the bad guys. Okay, so what's it really saying? Let's look into this in a summary situation. Also, one more thing. Headline, HalTurnerRadioShow.com. UK supermarkets using cardboard cutouts to hide product outages. Let me just tell you, there's not a shipping problem. There is a battle problem between good and evil, or the light and the darkness, or Satan and Jesus. Really, that's what's going on. And all of this shipping slowdown and all of this is the Moloch and Baal worshipers saying, see, we told you, we control everything. And you're going to let us continue to do all of the evil things that we've been doing for thousands of years, or we'll destroy you. And that's what is happening here. Now, let's summarize what we're talking about here. Let me paint a picture for you. So Park says 80,000 military are heading to the south border. Things are reaching a tipping point. DJT has been secured. We're now in the second phase of troops military deploying to the south border. 80,000 Haitians, 2,000 Central Americans broke through police line heading to the U.S. Then we jump to what Fulford said. There's arrests, executions, they're accelerating. EU is collapsing. Sudan now in a coup. Supermarket shelves going empty. Turner said, be ready to bug out. Cabal using earthquake machines to start landslide in La Palma. He now says they have been stopped. So, here's what I'm asking. And perhaps in tomorrow's broadcast, I'll get more specific. What now I'm asking is everybody, starting Halloween night, at midnight, we got to fast. Now, don't hurt yourself. Still take your meds. All we're asking you to do is just stay away from solid food. Coffee, juice, things like that's okay. And since you're doing it for God, if you haven't fasted before, you're about to get a surprise. You'll discover it's not as hard as you think, because once you start fasting for God, especially for your own nation, He's going to take the hunger pangs away. I do recommend you drink plenty of water. Again, still take your meds. Again, don't hurt yourself. But midnight, Halloween night, we're going to start fasting and praying. We're going to pray at least 4 times a day on our face. And we're going to be begging God for our nation. That's what we're doing. We're praying for our nation, begging God to give us 40 more years. 4 times a day on our face, praying for 4 days for 40 more years. Because right now there is a battle. Yes, bullets flying. There's a battle in the flesh. But brothers and sisters, there's also a battle in the spirit. And our battle, the weapons of our warfare, is not bullets. We have the most powerful weapons, and that is when 2 or more agrees touching any one thing, it would be given them. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you can ask what you will and be given. He's given us power and authority over serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. And with these prophecy students and with all of the different applications and ways that we're out there, through the app and everything else, we estimate there's somewhere between 10 and 40,000 people watch every one of these 30-minute broadcasts. Well, if just 10% of those people will actually fast and pray, that's a big group. That's a lot of power. In the spirit, that's dynamite. So I'm asking you, starting Halloween night, midnight, till Thursday, November the 4th, we're going to pray and fast. We're going to get on our face at least 4 times a day. We're going to pray for 4 days, asking for 40 more years. We have to do it. We have to. We have to, because the internal revolution has started, and we must pray that it will be successful. We must pray that every one of these Moloch and Baal worshipers, every one of these evil people is rounded up and done away with. Justice served. That's what we want. Justice served. I want to make it easy for you to follow Prophecy Club. And probably the easiest way is to download our app. So let me just show you. Here's how you do it. You get your cell phone. This is my granddaughter here. Get your cell phone, and you click on the app. It looks like this if you have an iPhone. I don't have a Google or an Android phone, so I don't know what this looks like. I assume it looks like this. But you click on the apple. You click on this symbol right here. You search Prophecy Club. And then you make sure you click on the emblem that looks like this, download it. Now, it downloads in like 10 seconds, but it really takes more like 3 to 5 minutes because you've got to populate all of these past broadcasts. But then when you have it, you can open it and you can click on a broadcast. It starts playing. If you get a phone call, it pauses the broadcast. You talk on the phone. When you're done, it starts the broadcast again. Very, very nice. So go down there and check that out. The Watchman Package. Get 2 2-foot by 3-foot color updated charts, my handwritten book of the Book of Revelation, 5 DVDs where I taught the School of the Watchman, and 5 Secret Door books to understand Bible prophecy valued at $355, all for a gift of just $200 at prophecyclub.com. The good news is EMP Shield has devices the military testing facility says protect 100% against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges, backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. View simple video installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV. You can have electricity in a blackout. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card, and it helps your Prophecy Club. These days, emergency food is mostly sold out, but HeavensHarvest.com has all sorts of emergency supplies and food in stock. Their food comes in square stackable buckets, breakfast, entree, protein, fruits and vegetables. I recommend you have at least 12 months of food for each person in your family. Receive a free box of heirloom seeds when you enter the promo code STAN at HeavensHarvest.com. Promo code STAN. Terry Saka is a prophecy student, and he reads his King James Bible, and he believes in winning souls so much he is supporting the Prophecy Club so that we can win more souls. So if you want to support someone that loves prophecy and wants to win souls, I'm going to send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, where you can get all sorts of precious metals, gold, silver, rhodium, palladium, and things like that. cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.